House of Representatives ad hoc committee on tax law reforms recently dropped a bombshell. It confirmed that illegal alterations were made to key tax laws signed by President Bola Tinubu. The Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025 is at the center of the storm. But in a dramatic twist, the House itself is now disowning the committee's report. Lawmakers are pushing back, questioning the committee's findings, and accusing it of overreach. So what's really going on?
Well, talking about this, many questions indeed are coming up. But then again, let's see where we stand. Joining us to break it all down, we do have the CEO of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, joins us this morning. Thank you so much for making it here with us on time. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And good morning to viewers too.
Great. I think the very first question anybody would love to ask, including myself, is I do not know if you have the documents with you, and which of the variations do you have? Because with what we see here, there seems to be almost 4 of them. 2 separate House committees or caucus have looked into this. The one that was put together, that was given the mandate by the House of Representatives, and then the minority caucus that came out on Friday to say, listen, we've truly seen there's a problem. There are different variations. Can you clarify to us if truly there are different variations, and maybe, I don't know the one you have, if I may ask?
Well, these are very voluminous, documents running into thousands of pages. So I have not been able to go through the totality of it. But once this matter came into the public, I'm talking about the issues of discrepancies, the National Assembly itself set up a committee to reconcile those discrepancies and to ensure that there was an alignment between what was gazetted and what was passed by the joint sessions of the House of Rep and the Senate. And we were told by the National Assembly that these discrepancies had been properly reconciled, aligned, and gazetted. That is the National Assembly, which is made up of both the House of Reps and the Senate, which in my mind ought to have put the matter to rest. But now we have the minority caucus also coming up with another report. Because the National Assembly didn't deny that there were discrepancies. What they have not told us were those who are responsible and whether there be any consequences, whether it was an error of omission, an error or error of commission, or it was deliberate. That's a different conversation. What is clear is that those discrepancies have been resolved and a new gazette has been issued, which has been passed to the National Revenue Service for implementation. So the angle of the minority caucus, I think, is making the whole conversation looking now a lot more partisan, the way it is looking, because the National Assembly has issued a statement. So I don't know why the minority caucus has to come up with another report. So I think it is important that they speak with one voice. That is my view about this.
So are you saying for certain that the minority caucus's stance should be disregarded completely?
No, I'm not saying it should be disregarded. Since they are part of the whole, and the totality of the National Assembly had issued a statement, and they are part of the National Assembly. And the National Assembly admitted, the National Assembly did not deny the fact that there were discrepancies. If there is any further steps to be taken, I think it has to come from the National Assembly as a whole. Unless the minority does not have confidence in the majority. It is the majority that produces the leadership. Unless that is the case, then we can follow through this path. But the minority caucus, I'm not sure, had denied that those reconciliations have been done. I think what they are saying is that some people have tampered with it, and there has to be consequences, which is okay.
Okay, I just want
But it's important that they speak with one voice.
Okay, I just want to add, Dr. Yusuf, that they've even said more than that. They've said more than that. Part of the things they said is that the CTC, the Certified True Copy released by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the gazetted copy are not in concurrence. They're not. They don't tally. And one of the things they mentioned was that, let me just bring some of them up. They said, for instance, there are new sections that have been added, you know, in the CTC. One of them, they said section 41.8 and section 41.9. What that does is it mandates a 20% deposit, a 20% deposit for appeals. So anybody who's going to the tax appeal tribunal will have to, first of all, pay 20% of the tax amount before they can proceed. And they said this was not in the original copy that was agreed upon, that was approved by the House of Assembly, and they're still seeing it again. How do we handle this? And if it truly was not tampered with before it was signed into law, we have seen that in section 60 of the one in Lagos State, the LIRS is put out a statement yesterday, I don't know if you saw it too, saying that they can go straight into your bank account and get that money out, which is power of substitution pursuant to section 60. And they are quoting the Nigerian Tax Administration Act of 2025 established. So where do we go to from here?
No, let's get this point clear. The issues about the discrepancy, was it before the regazetted one or after it? Because there were initial allegations of discrepancy by the House of Rep member from Sokoto State, based on the controversies that led to that. Both the House of Reps and the Senate agreed that this matter should be investigated. And they jointly agreed to investigate it, and they discovered the discrepancies, and they reconciled the whatever was gazetted with what was actually approved, which is the CTC. There was no disagreement about that. And based on that, they regazetted it. So this proposition or this argument you are presenting now, was it before the discrepancies were reconciled or after it? Because the way I'm looking at it is that the Minority Caucus is trying to amplify what was originally discovered as discrepancies, which has been resolved and regazetted. So if their position now is that the matter should not die there, there should be consequences and all of that, that is a different conversation. But my understanding of this is that all of these matters have been resolved and a new gazette has been issued, which is what they are now operating on. And I think I heard Taiwo Edele, saying that these matters, in fact, the issue of the 20%, he said it's not correct. That is not in the provision of the Act. So there's so much confusion about these things, but my view is that those things have been agreed upon and a new gazette has been issued. That's my own position, unless we are bringing a partisan angle to it to amplify what went wrong.
Okay.
Whether it was deliberate, whether it was an error for me, because I remember Mr. Edele was saying that because of the processes and the manual way in which these matters were being handled, it was vulnerable to all manner of clerical errors. Because you had the original version of the House of Reps, different from the original version of what was approved by the Senate, then they had to reconcile the two situations, align and agree on a single version before it was passed to the president. So maybe in the process of doing all of this, maybe somebody dropped the ball or something. I cannot say, but perhaps maybe the tax committee may be able to elaborate more on this.
Okay, so now that you've said, like you said, you wonder why they're all speaking with different voices, right? What would you say is the next step for the House? These allegations are strong allegations. Nigerians don't really care about the politicization or lack of it thereof. They just want to know that their funds, their finances are safely protected, and that if the government is taking a portion of it, it's not overcharging them and it's delivering on the mandate it promised. So what would you say will be the next steps going forward from here? Because the Minority Caucus have said that their claims should not be trivialized. Nigerians just want to know what should be the next step going forward.
The Minority Caucus should go back to the National Assembly. The Minority Caucus is part of the National Assembly. We don't have two National Assemblies. If they have further reservations or action that are needed to be taken, they should take it back to the House. Unless they are telling us that the House is trying to suppress this matter or is not agreeing with them or something, that will be a different conversation. But to come up with a separate report after the totality of the Assembly has issued a report and issued clarification, I don't understand what they want to achieve by that. If there are further actions that need to be taken, I agree. If there are evidence of deliberate tampering with what was originally agreed, there has to be consequences for that. Somebody has to pay for that.
All right.
If it was an error of omission or commission, we need to determine if there are people who are culpable, they should be disciplined. That, for me, I think that is what they should agree on. And the National Assembly leaders should take this one up with the executive. That this is what we approve. Let us find out who actually dropped the ball, who actually tampered with this, and let us ensure that there are consequences for it, so that we don't see a repeat of this kind of things. So I agree with them if that is what they are trying to say.
Okay.
But I think it's better to go back to the National Assembly so that they have a common position on this.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Muda Yusuf, for joining us for the conversation this morning. We'll continue to follow up with updates regarding the tax laws and the surrounding controversy thereof. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.